Hi, another member of the Facebook group asked me if I could mark her child's writing. So yes, here is a narrative written in response to this stimulus at the top of the page. As I walked down the length of the bus, I spotted a box on the back seat. Now, the good thing about doing these types of responses to writing prompts like this, where they give you the initial sentence, is that it gives you the basic impetus to begin. And so you actually start the story in in the middle of it, all right, at the complication, which is spotting this box on the back seat. So this is a technique called in medias res, which is the Latin phrase for in the middle. And it's not a bad idea to start stories like that, I think, because you've only got 20 minutes in selective. So you skip the big introductory orientation where you describe your character and who you are and so on. You just start at the problem and fill the reader in as you go along. Okay, so using that sentence, and perhaps you could look for these types of prompts, and maybe I'll post some more of these prompts to the Facebook page so you can practice those types of ones and the in medias res technique. All right, being a bus driver always meant that people forgot to bring their belongings from the bus. There's a big problem with this opening sentence. It doesn't make sense. All right, there's a cause and effect problem. Being a bus driver doesn't mean that people forgot to bring their belongings. All right, they're not related at all. You need to change this whole sentence. You need to say something like, being a bus driver meant that I always observed that people forgot to take their belongings with them from the bus. All right, so you would even want to add a few more words in there. But that whole sentence, I'll just underline it, needs to be changed. All right. Still, the box caught the mind of my eye. All right, it's an interesting phrase. It's you don't normally say the mind of my eye. You would normally say it caught my mind's eye, but I guess the subtle rephrasing there is a little bit interesting and quirky, so you could possibly leave that. On the box was written, only feed it chocolate. Oh, that's quite interesting. That's engaging. What most caught my eye was the aspect, interesting word, aspect, that the box seemed to quiver as if the object inside the box was alive. All right, so yeah, quiver is a good word. That's a nice descriptive verb. Now, it was the aspect. It just seems a little bit out of context there. All right, it's something about the box. I'd probably try and use a word that's a little bit more specific to the way the box is. Give it more meaning. The peculiarity that the box, the quirk that the box. Okay, so think about adjusting that word. Here I would use a semicolon instead of an ellipsis. All right, I'd say that inside the box was alive, semicolon. Little did I know how right I would be proven to be. Right, something like that. So yeah, adjusting that sentence, because to only find that I'm right, yeah, again, the tense is wrong, doesn't syntactically make sense there. Right. As I went to pick it up, all right, now this is something you've got to be careful with when you start a new paragraph. Be very specific about your pronouns. All right, so I don't think this is too bad though, because he then goes on to say the box straight after the comma. Okay, so normally you would say, as I went to pick the box up, it toppled, right? Just so we're clear what it is. Because yeah, many times when students write long narratives, they'll start pronouns. So as he went to do this, and it's like, well, who's he? Who's she? You know, what is it? All right, so make sure you reference your pronouns very clearly. The box toppled, all right, toppled's a nice word, heavily onto the floor and through the cardboard lid. So another thing I should mention here is the writing is a little bit too messy. All right, the way it's set out, it's hard to identify some words. Is this rolled? Is it rolled? But this looks like a K. What? Walked? Is it walked? Yeah, it's a little bit unclear what word, but it's probably rolled. Yeah, he's just put the E really close to the L. So rolled a little. All right, so you want to look for more interesting words than little. You get diminutive, minuscule, right? Something that stands out from little. You want to eliminate these really common words. Plump's not bad. Yellow, monster. Again, could you use a more interesting word than monster, which is probably the first word that comes into a child's mind. Creature, abomination might be a little bit too strong there, but yeah, have a think about that. Which, in my eyes, was actually, bad spelling error there, actually only has one C. So yeah, there should be proofreading here. You should be trying to eliminate those little errors. It was actually quite cute. Again, could you use a better word than cute? Naming him TP, I took him home. All right, one good thing about this writing is that there's clear use of paragraphs. All right, the story's nicely spaced out. Many students forget to use paragraphs. They just write one long rambling paragraph and you look at it and no one wants to read it. So yeah, there's nice spacing here. TP, where are you? I called through the house. Perhaps again you could rephrase this a little to get a better use of vocabulary, better phrasing. You know, TP, where are you? My exclamation reverberated throughout the house. Quite annoyed and flabbergasted. Yeah, flabbergasted's a great word, but again he's misspelled it. Needs to have two B's in flabbergasted. Only an hour after TP was brought home, I realized the he. Alright, so that doesn't make sense. The he, so should it be that he? That he was a tremendously, alright, that's a nice word and he spelled it correctly, cheeky rascal. That's nice phrasing. Perhaps a tremendously rambunctious rascal, you know, if you wanted to have better vocabulary, and then you're using alliteration as well. He spilled the entire contents of the fridge. Right, again, that doesn't syntactically really make sense. I know what you mean. It's like he knocked everything out of the fridge, so spilled, because the fridge would actually spill the contents, not TP. It's not as though he is the fridge. So you know, he dislodged the entire contents of the fridge. That would make more sense. And gobbled up all of the Choco Chops. Oh, it's a nice sort of parody of Cocoa Pops, I guess. My favourite snack. Alright, and favourite in British English needs a U in it. Alright, so that's American spelling. His behaviour made me do a straight decision. Yes, doesn't make sense. Alright, a straight decision, a decision. You wouldn't use straight as the adjective. So his behaviour led me to conclude that I had to dispense with him, right? Or his behaviour made me decide to put him back on the bus. Okay, straight made me do a straight decision. Do would not be the correct, or you do not do a decision. You come to a decision. You make a decision. So be very careful with your verb, your subject-verb agreement, putting him back on the bus. Finally, after searching like a mother hen searching, see, there's no need to have these two searchings, right? It's redundant. So you would just say, finally, like a mother hen searching for her chicks, so you could get rid of the after searching complaint. And then you got quite a nice simile. All right, that's a pretty good simile, like a mother hen searching for her chicks. I found TP taking chunks out of the TV with his claw. Okay, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I picked up TP, dropped him into the cardboard box that I had found him. We need another word here, in, that I had found him in. Oop, didn't come out properly, but you'll get the gist of what I mean. And got ready to go to the bus. At the bus. Alright, so we could probably add something here. Arriving at the bus, or arriving at our destination, so it's not so repetitive in saying the bus all the time. I took the last look. Yeah, it probably should be a last look, all right, because it's not the last look is not so definitive that it can be defined as the last look, like the only look. So a last look, because other people will be taking last looks at other things as well. He stared back at me with his cute. Yeah, I think we already said cute somewhere, didn't we? So yeah, perhaps we could use a better, his quirky, his idiosyncratic, little, again, using trying to use a better word than little, eyes. Yeah, so you use tiny here, so it's slightly different. It's good. All right, miniature, diminutive. I would practice using lots of synonyms. All right, so look at your writing, look at the words you use a lot, look at mixing them up with a tiny frown. Plaster. Right? Needs to be past tense, right? Because we're already stared back. So this needs to be plastered on his face. My heart shattered into pieces. Yeah, no, that's not a bad metaphor, right? My heart shattered into pieces when I saw TP like this. Unable to bear the sadness. Okay, so yeah, no, again, nice use of emotive description. I decided to take him back home. So he's changed his mind, right? Yeah. After all, and this needs a bigger gap between the words because after all is 2 words. What damage can he do? It's actually quite a good ending, all right, because we can infer from all of the things TP has done in the story so far that he can create a lot of damage, all right? So it's sort of an ironic ending, an ironic question to ask the reader. All right, so overall on this story, my feedback, well, as I said, good use of paragraphing, good use of spacing. Big problem, a lot of the sentences don't make sense, all right? So you would lose a lot of marks for syntax and grammar. Think about refining word use, all right, so that you're not using really common words. Check your spelling, right? Actually, flabbergasted, favorite. All right, there's some good evidence of spelling. Decision, that's a word that many students of this age, year 5, tend to spell incorrectly. Remembering to watch your tense to maintain your tense. Right. While there was some evidence of figurative language use, so there was that good simile about the mother hen, remember to not use redundant language. Redundant means no, you don't need to use it, it's more than is necessary. So the parent who sent me this wanted me to give a rough idea of a mark for this. So in selective they mark writing out of 20, and the average is 12. It's marked to a mean of 12. Now I have a lot of experience of seeing students writing and what sort of marks they get. So I've seen people get 12 who I think their writing that I've done with them is actually pretty poor. So I think this would be better than some of the ones that get 12, but it just doesn't have enough vocabulary. It's not grammatically correct enough. It is a somewhat engaging story, but you still need to be technically correct in an exam situation. I'd probably give it around 13 or 14 out of 20, right? See, if you just improved the vocabulary a bit, if you just improved your spelling, if you just improved your grammar, you'll probably be getting up to 16, 15, 16 just by doing that, right? And if you can really then push that even further, then you're getting into the high marks. But to get to that level, I think the vocabulary would really need to improve a lot. All right, I hope that's been of some help to you.